Hello, my loves, and welcome to this reading. It's good to see you. And if you're new here, welcome. I always like to give a little heads up before I jump into my readings. My readings can be quite unique, might be not what you're used to from other readers. I like to dive deep. My readings usually are a bit of a journey. So if you like that, then you're in the right place. And let's get to it. So right off the bat, I got something about a changing of perception. I do feel like that this message is for someone who is discovering some kind of new way of perceiving the world. Maybe you're opening up to more senses, not just the physical senses, but you're discovering more, or maybe you've done this for quite a while and now you're recognizing that those skills are being refined or changing. So there's something about change. There's some kind of novelty here. What I also got was I saw in my mind's eye, like it was pretty dark. Like there was not much happening there, but I could tell that all the other influences like sound, especially sound, felt like it was far, far away. Almost like as if you were sitting behind a glass wall or in a cave, like this darkness, and that something is happening outside of that. And you are inside, and you're perceiving like whatever is happening in the external world as something that is far away from you. So I get something about like retreating into yourself, or maybe like a literal retreat. Again, like this cave that I just saw, some kind of timeout, or it doesn't have to be a literal timeout. It can be like a timeout in your life. It can be perceived like a timeout. But I do get something about like you are in a space that is very protected right now, so that you can, whatever it is that is awakening for you, that this can come online. Yeah, there's a heavy element on protection. You see those spikes here on the seashell? There's something about protection here. All right, getting back to that mystical deck. Oof. God. My shuffling skills at work again. Yay. With slippery hands because it's so warm. I'm literally melting and I'm not capable of handling my cards right. Okay, so again, there's this element of something is different. Something is not the usual. There's something that don't let this preoccupy you. Don't be concerned about that. Okay, there's something about maybe you had some kind of spiritual gift, some kind of skill that you used, and now you feel like it's changing, or maybe you even feel like losing it. Just know that this is nothing to be concerned about, and it's also not unusual. So when you are when your skills are evolving. They change. They don't stay the same. And I know sometimes this can be hard because we grow fond of our skills and we get used to using them. But simply know that everything that is happening is for your own good. And for example, I'm realizing like I always used to shuffle my cards until cards flew out. I still do that sometimes, but not always. And so something that is happening lately is that I feel called to cut the deck in 3 parts and then draw. Like it's not always the same way I'm drawing them. I'm just following what I'm getting. But yeah, so this is also something that is changing. And now okay, so you might also have bodily sensations like itching nose. My nose is itching lately. I can tell like this is always happening when I'm getting certain kind of like when things are changing, certain what they call upgrades are happening. My nose is itching. Maybe you feel something like that. Now I feel something in the heart space. Okay. With this card, the dissolving light. I've never seen this card. This happened to me the other day as well, that I drew a card that I've never seen before. And I've been working with this deck heavily for years. So that's interesting. I'm not one who studies her decks. Like I'm using them intuitively as they come along. What I do see here is like the dissolving light, how this person is like dissolving into the light basically. And you can see like here's this small, like it's getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And there's this fear of losing something, maybe the fear of losing yourself when you are dissolving into like the greater life. And it's the number 3, and the 3 is a very divine number. It's speaking about different aspects of existence. Some people say it's the number of God. If you want to use the term God, I usually don't speak about God, but so it's coming through like that. So I'm saying it. I'm also getting something about like the Christian idea about like the Trinity, the Holy Trinity. So like one cannot exist without the other. And there's something about identity and about like letting go of the ego identity and letting yourself dissolve into something higher. There is also something like this 3 thing is standing out to me. I'm not just getting, so now I'm getting something about triple goddesses, not only because I see here the Divine Mother manifests, and many of the, especially the ancient goddesses, often also referred as dark goddesses, are triple goddesses. Many of them have, for example, the aspect of a mother in there with accompanied by others. They usually have so they're speaking to the different aspects of our human nature, but not just that. Okay, so I'm getting something about, yeah, so dissolving the ego, dissolving into like a greater, there's something about identity. This thing with those, the gifts that are awakening. So either your gifts are changing or you have like for the first time, maybe even awakening those gifts, discovering it. Like there's it's not really a warning. It's just something that, like they say, like you should be conscious about that. That if you have a problem with letting them change, letting them evolve, you might check your ideas around your identity. Like, how do you identify? Do you, for example, I'm getting something about a witch, especially with this triple goddess, I got very strong Hecate vibes. So there was something about maybe you have identified as a witch from the witch movement, for example. So this is for someone specifically. It doesn't have to be like that. It's just an example that is coming through right now. So whatever you've been you're identifying yourself with, and there's this concern that when your gifts are changing, like, am I still that? And the question is, does this version that you identified yourself with, does it still fit? Is it still you? Does it still represent who you are now? Like, if you truly ask yourself, like, is this still true for me? So sometimes we are clinging on to an old version of us because it is what we know, it is what we identified with for such a long time. And it's just like this. So another example, like our family sees us in a certain way, or maybe friends from school. And then we go away and like we live life and we are changing as a person. And then we're coming back home and our parents will always treat us like when we were, I don't know, 15, or our high school friends will still treat us the way that they remember us from back then. And sometimes we fall back into those roles. And it's a really, really hard thing to remember that maybe this is not the version that we still identify with. And it's not that easy to bring that new identity that we have discovered for ourselves, that we maybe have with the new friends that we have, or like our spouse or partner or whatever. Take it as it resonates. Like, we usually have certain situations or context environments where it's easy for us to be that version, the current one that we identify with the most right now. And so when we are going back into those old places and like people meet us in a way because they still remember the old self and they don't know that we are someone different now, that we have a new identity. It's hard to be that, like, it's easy to slip into old ways. That's basically what's coming through. So this is something to be aware of. And so there's again the question, and because this doesn't only happen with others, this can also happen with ourselves. Like, we have a certain idea about ourselves where we identify with, and we think like that's who we are. And I think it's a very, very good thing to ask ourselves on a regular basis, is this still true for me? Am I still that person that I chose to be maybe a year ago or 5 years ago or even 15 or 20 years ago? Is this still representative of who I am today? Because we're constantly changing and evolving. And the only part of us that is not comfortable with that is our little ego. It's the one that likes to know what is happening. It maybe the question is like, why do we cling on to that version? Because we gain something from that identity. It is something that makes us feel secure or strong or capable or worthy or whatever. And so it's important to remember that you can be those things. You can be worthy. You are capable. You are safe. You are strong. Whatever it is that this is giving you, without attaching it to any kind of identity. So coming back to this idea about, or this thing about the evolving skills, the gifts. that you might have and that are changing. There's like, you're asked to be trusting in the process, and that whatever those skills are, and in whichever way they are changing, that those will match this new identity that you are creating. They will match it, and they will match it even better than before. So yeah, there's this huge thing about trust here. Whoopsie, sorry. So the interesting thing about this deck, for example, is that it's a Rumi Oracle deck, and it has many references to, for example, here, Blessing of Al-Hakim. It has many references to, first of all, his poems and Rumi's poems, and secondly, to figures from especially Middle Eastern culture. So very often I don't know what it means, but what I do is that I usually, because this is the way this deck is speaking to me, sometimes I'm asked and called to read from the guidebook, but that rarely happens, usually only to look at the poem. What I'm usually asked to do is to read the images, how the art is speaking to me. Oh, okay. So this is why I'm talking about that. I studied art history. So I learned how to read and interpret images. That's a skill, right? Something I got trained in. But I'm not using this anymore in the way it was intended to when I studied art history. I didn't become an art historian. Now I'm using this skill in order to read images and in a reading, for example. So what I am seeing here now, okay, I'm getting confused. There's something is confusing. Someone is confused. Okay, so it seems like someone is getting confused about, like, how does this even work, or how is this supposed to be, or you're asking those questions for yourself. Don't force it. It will come to you in the right time, and you will at some point suddenly realize. It was the same for me with those, like, this connection of art history. I just it was very much at the beginning of my tarot reading journey. And I'm not the person, like, I do have my own relationship to the cards. I do have my own way of reading the tarot, of engaging with the different archetypes, looking at it. I do still like to educate myself on the archetypes, but I'm not the classic, like, typical tarot reader, for example, who, like, dives into the decks and what their classical meaning is. Of course, I've been picking up on it, especially through other readers, but this is not, like, my way going about it. And at some point I realized I'm heavily, heavily relying on the imagery. And then it suddenly dawned on me that this is like my the fact that I got trained into reading imagery through my art history studies helped me with doing that. And so this was just something that dawned at me at some point in my tarot reading journey. It was quite at the beginning, actually, that I realized that, and also gave me a sense of comfort, because it was something I was familiar with, but also confidence, because I knew I was good at doing that, and I knew that I was capable of doing that. And so I was like, oh wow, I don't need to know, like, an entire deck and the intended meaning of the cards, but I can simply trust what I get from them myself, and the tools I have, the skills I already have, help me with that. Um, so yeah, don't force it. If you feel confused and you're looking for like, okay, where am I doing that? Where is this skill for me? You'll find it. It will come to you, just like this insight came to me, and it will be perfect for you. Yeah, so this is whoever Al Hakim is. I don't know. So this blessing part is speaking to me. It's something that is, yeah, it will be turned on its head, like I just said. My art history professor certainly did not intend on teaching me those skills in order so that I can do tarot readings later. Not that they would object to it, of course not, but it's not what they had in mind. But so yeah, it feels like you are asked to use your gifts and skills in ways that they were maybe not intended for when you learned them. And you are creating a new way of blessing out of them. So the same way when we are looking at this card, which is turned on its head, and this is giving a completely new imagery. If you're looking at it upside down, like the right way, you can see like this looks like some kind of moon, and it's mirrored here in the water. And so this, yeah, this is how I would interpret it, like at the first glance. But when I'm turning it, suddenly what I see, what I get, and this is just what my mind is telling me, is I see people here, and I maybe even see some kind of city, maybe, or settling, or maybe they just standing here on the waterline and looking at it. And maybe this is the moon that is in the sky and is reflected in the water, and they are looking at it. So suddenly, like, there is a different aspect of it that was hidden before, that was not intended to be there, but you can create it for yourself. And I'm sorry, I keep bumping against the camera and it's swinging. I hope you don't get seasick. All right. I keep saying it. It's interesting that pretty much like all the cards are coming out in reverse on this channel lately. So there is something about really like turning things on its head. Again, not how they were intended to be, not the initial intention. And again, Victor of Mariam, this card comes out over and over and over again. Right now, this card is speaking to me about freedom. It really is, because okay, how do I make this like quick and easy, digestible, without going into too much of a detour? Okay, so there's something about the how creative power was viewed in this world, especially around the feminine aspect of creation energy, or like the creative process. Right now I'm getting heavy emphasis on the sacred chakra, which is known as our creative center. And there are a lot of limitations on it, because our cultural, especially in Western societies, the way the cultural influences are looking at, again, I'm getting very strong with Mariam, which is Mother Mary, that there is like a heavy emphasis on this. There is one way to look at femininity and what feminine energies are allowed to be, but there are huge aspects of feminine energy that are suppressed or were suppressed for a very, very long time, and they still in some way are. And what I do see with this collective is that you are reconnecting with those more hidden, less quote unquote appropriate aspects of feminine nature. For example, darker aspects of femininity. Maybe you're working with dark goddesses. Maybe you're tapping into dragon energy. Maybe you're tapping into more like maybe you're exploring certain aspects of sexuality, for example, desires. So there are many, many different ways this can be expressed, but I do see this happening for this collective. And there's something about, especially with Mary coming through, not just in my readings, like I've seen her all over the place over the last week or so, yeah, a little longer actually. There's something that we as a collective are working on in healing out of those very, very limiting perceptions of what feminine energy and feminine archetypes basically are allowed to be. And so again, it's turning it on its head. It's like you are redefining what it means to be connected to your femininity. Maybe it is not what you were taught what feminine energy is, what it means to be, and I'm saying this now in, like, in a gendered way, like what it means to be a woman. But if you're a male, doesn't like it, you can adapt this for yourself as well. Like, where is feminine energy present inside of your life, and how were you allowed to portray it, to live it? Probably not. Probably not at all, because this is what men are taught in our societies nowadays. Like, I mean, there are things changing at the moment, but it's still like large parts of society and like the way we were raised, like the way the biggest part of the people who are tuning in here were raised. Men were not allowed to show their feminine qualities. So there is something about, again, tapping into your own feminine flow, your own feminine nature, your own feminine energies, or to put it another way, those greater, whoopsie, getting expressive here again, those greater energies, and how you are tapping into them, bringing them through and expressing them into the world. And this is what I see here with, like, there is this channel where this energy is coming through and it's spreading into the world, and you are making it something else. Like, it's this tiny stream here of purple energy, some red here as well, and then you're making it something like completely new, and it's just expanding and it's reacting with whatever is waiting for it out here, and it's it's becoming something new, it's becoming something different. And the sacred phoenix heart, so this is very much speaking about walking through fire in order to be reborn. Okay, so you need to maybe, I see someone dancing around a fire. It's like dancing on the ruins of your life. There is this empowerment happening, like this realization happening of, wow, my life is not what I've recognized, like what I've known it to be before. And you're coming into this recognition of, wow, I actually love it. I love it. And it's almost like you see, I see like a huge fire, and like this is like burning down, like even like this old version of you. And like I see someone who is asking like, okay, can I please, like, where are the matches, or um can I have some gasoline, because I just like let this burn even brighter and even hotter and even, yeah. um there's like, yeah, almost like an aesthetic, is this a word? um Sorry, can't think of the English version of the word right now. There, yeah, there is a very like a passionate aspect about it. Like this is, I'm just, um, I'm just dancing around this fire. Like, yeah, let me be reborn, please. And I feel like that this will happen for you the moment you allow, like the moment you let go of that old version. And maybe you're already in the process of doing it, and or maybe you are still in this moment like where you hold on. But like there's this part of you who actually wants to burn like this whole thing to the ground. um And yeah, I'm what I'm realizing right now too is like again this divine mother manifest, who that is still lying here on the side. She's upright while all the others are like in reverse. Um, so she almost looks like as if she's watching over it. And so there's this, yeah, let this old version, like the mother energy with Mary over here, this is a limiting version of what Mary actually is and what she's capable of, what the mother image is capable of. Again, I'm getting Hecate as well. Like those darker aspects, Mary doesn't have, like in the Christian belief, Mary doesn't have darker aspects. She has, but not in it's in the subconscious, and you can see it by like in many there are many depictions where she's actually standing on a crescent moon, for example, or she's standing on a serpent or a dragon. And this is meant to symbolize her, like she defeating those aspects of what is related, like which is seen connected to the feminine energy, the darker aspects of the feminine. And this is what gets celebrated in Christianity, that she has risen above those darker aspects. But this is a very, like it's a limiting belief about the feminine nature. It's denying the feminine her full expression. I just saw 3333 on the timer. So again, this godly nature, like the triple goddess aspect. And so this fuller, more whole version of the divine mother is watching over this whole process. So you can let this old version of you go. You can take those skills, whatever, like those building blocks you acquired in your life, and you can make them your own. Like you are allowed to do that. Only because you've been taught to do something a certain way, it doesn't mean that you have to keep doing it. You are your own person. You can decide what you want to keep, what you want to toss, what you want to do with the things you keep, how you want to reshape them, recreate them, make them your own. And then there's, like I said, this aspect of you who just wants to dance around the fire and just see all of this burn. And then you, because you know from the ashes something new will arise, something new will come to life, and it will be so much more you. It will be so much more, like, it will be so much much more powerful and magical, beautiful. And again, it's a fuller version of you, like more facets integrated, not just a whitewashed, superficial, limited idea about our feminine nature. And it actually is watched over by this divine mother energy. And like I said, she came through for me, not just for me, for others too, over the last few weeks pretty heavily. All right. Is there anything else that wants to come through? Okay, so there's something like they are directing me now to the green here, also here in the stones. This is speaking about heart energy. So okay, so it seems like this is a heart opening, and I think I spoke about that in the beginning, right? Right at the beginning. So you might be feeling tensions in your heart space. I mean, please always make sure that you check this, like that you're all safe. And if you're unclear about what's happening, go see a doctor. Just make sure that everything is okay. But it can be that maybe if you feel tension or pressure on your heart space, that it can be related to heart opening energies. It's a pretty common thing. All right. Oh, okay. So I just saw like this energy, like blowing you a kiss, saying all is well and have fun. And yeah, that's it. All right. I thank this beautiful energy for this amazing reading. I thank you for staying. If you made it until here, great. I love you. Thanks for that. This is an amazing energy. This is powerful. And I can only repeat what she said. Have fun. This is great. And yeah, so thanks for distributing your time and energy here. I would love to hear from you, as always, in the comments. Share your thoughts, ideas, insights, experiences. And if you want to help the channel out or distribute your energy even more, makes it easier for me to pick up on it, then maybe leave a subscription. All right. I'm looking forward to hopefully meeting you in the next video. And until then, take care, my loves. Bye.